DeBoer lost to Vandy this weekend.
He did.
Did not go well. I knew the minute this game ended what I was going to do on Monday afternoon.
I'm watching Paul Feinbaum.
Paul Feinbaum has legendary Southern callers. We have created now a drops page from callers.
Yes.
And I monitor this very closely. And so I saw this live. I knew they'd posted on Twitter. This caller is named Legend.
Legend.
Okay? A lot of these guys don't give their real names. They have nicknames. Legend is a diehard Bama fan. I kept thinking of one of our P1s, Jake the Hater, who's also a Bama fan, who told us he hated DeBoer after last week's win.
That was after the Georgia win.
And that was after the Georgia win.
Yeah.
Now they've lost to Vandy, so everybody is up in arms in Alabama. And Legend called in, and well, we've got some cuts. Here is Legend on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I'll ride and die with the Crimson Tide. I don't care to go back and get Mike Shula the coach. I'm going to be with Alabama every friggin' game. But that don't mean I can't be pissed at what I seen Saturday on the field. Alabama don't lose to Vandy. We don't lose to Vandy. That is friggin' pathetic, Coach DeBoer. 40 years, dude. 40 years. Bill Curry didn't lose to Vandy. Mike DeBoer didn't lose to Vandy. Mike Shula didn't lose to Vandy. 40 years. You've been here 4 weeks and you already lost to Vandy. Strike friggin' one, dude. Strike friggin' one. The honeymoon's not only over, but we need some serious marriage counseling between me and you, dude.
He continued on this.
God, that is so good.
This is, by the way, if you want to know how I felt when the Beavs lost to Sac State.
This is the
you
feeling.
Don't lose to Sac State,
What is
dude.
happening? I wish we could. This was like a 7-minute rant, and I was contemplating, like, do we just pull the entire thing and play it? Because it was all gold.
I cut up a lot of it, and I went through this pretty thoroughly. He repeats a couple like
He did,
rants,
yeah.
so I cut it out. This one's a little lengthier, but we need to continue. Legend on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
I burned it. I apologize to Nick Saban for putting a nail next to him and putting it next to him. 40 years, dude. You've been here 4 weeks and you already lost to Vandy. And let me tell you something. I'm really unimpressed with your press conference. I mean, you act like it's one game. No, it ain't one game, dude. It ain't one game. You ain't at Washington no more. You ain't at Prairie View, wherever the hell you was. You ain't there no more, brother. You at Alabama. You're at Alabama, and we don't damn lose to Vanderbilt. That's pathetic. I've had people tell me today, well, Coach Saban lost his first year, Legend. I said, man, don't even come at me with that bull crap, because that's a bunch of baloney. John Parker Wilson was the quarterback for Nick Saban's first year. No offense, John Parker Wilson, but we know you wasn't no NFL prospect, brother. We all know that. Come on, you can't even compare them. You got the Heisman Trophy front runner, Lynn Swann, out there at wide receiver, and you get beat by Vandy. It's pathetic, dude. It's pathetic. You better wake the hell up and realize where you at, because we don't play that down here, brother. You might get away with that in Washington, but down here in Alabama, we don't play that. We'll send a U-Haul to your ass if you lose to South Carolina. You better stop worrying about last week's game and get your ass focused on the game coming up at Alabama.
Is your dream job Alabama? Are you ready to take on the heat of
one loss?
He beat.
Hey, let's quick reminder, quick PSA. He beat Georgia a week ago.
Doesn't matter anymore.
He beat Georgia a week ago.
He ruined all that cachet.
And none of it matters. None of it matters.
Final one, he compared what the situation at Alabama is. Him, Legend, now his thoughts and feelings on DeBoer and losing to Vanderbilt, he compared it to something.
This is equivalent to coming home and finding your wife in bed with the neighbor. This is what this is equivalent to, Paul. And I'll say this for this. Me and K-Dub both agree. You could never trust her again. You might stay with her for the kids' sake, but you could never trust the woman again. And the same thing's true with Coach DeBoer. You can win a natty. We can't trust your ass down. You just proved that you can beat the best and lose to the worst in a 2-week friggin' period. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. That's the ugliest little sister on the block. You ain't at Washington no more.
So good, dude.
I don't piss you off, dude.
Dude, his dudes are the best. Dude, 40 years,
dude or brother?
Yeah, brother. What are we doing here, man? The ugliest little sister on the block.
Can't you take the heat? Get out of the kitchen. I love the kitchen. So let's get that right.
It's going to be me on Monday when Oregon loses to Ohio State, and I got to come in and do another show. Damn it! Here we go. I'm going to start yelling at people.
Vandy is my daddy.
Vandy is my daddy, man. It just, God, what a wild game, and the reaction to it was priceless. I hate that Feinbaum gets the credit for this, too.
What do you mean?
That guy's never said an interesting thing in his life. His
Okay.
show is incredibly boring.
Whoa,
it is
whoa, whoa,
propped up by, the show's not boring. He's incredibly boring. He is propped up by this. This is why it's interesting. The other people deserve whatever paycheck ESPN is paying Paul Feinbaum. Get 5% of his check yesterday should have gone to this guy because this guy made his show interesting.
I will say this. Did you see real quick? Did you see his take?
At the
No,
end
and
of the call?
Feinbaum's no.
So before the year started, he called out, or no, after the Nebraska game, he called out Dion. Or no, this was before the season. Sorry, there we go.
He was going at Dion a ton before the year because he was on First Take,
Yeah.
and they said, say something interesting, Paul.
After they beat UCF, he publicly apologized and said, I was wrong on Dion, okay? That being said, I used to agree with you. I watch this show more often than I ever have. What he has created, I don't disagree with the tone. It just is like, welcome into the radio
Hello, I'm
program.
Paul Feinbaum. Okay, legend, you go now.
But what he has created is a community of whack job,
Yes.
diehard
Yeah.
football fans.
I mean, he got a guy thrown in prison who called in and admitted to poisoning trees.
He also has people create GoFundMes and they raise money for people who are very poor and very sick or
Yeah.
dealing with things. So you can think some of the
Did you
things
hear his
think.
line, though, at the end of the call?
Who, Feinbaum or the callers?
No, Feinbaum, after the caller was done.
I didn't hear. I don't remember his line. What did he say?
I was like, well, I feel like I need a cigarette after that.
I mean, they're
This was his
absolute
show yesterday.
insanity.
It was just these
So I could wish my boot right up your ass.
these loons just calling in and losing their minds, man. It's unbelievable content, but I want to give the proper credit to the proper people. These are the people that deserve
Whoever
it.
the producer is
These
screaming
wackos.
calls with his hand on the dump button doesn't
Yes.
get paid enough money.
Double that guy's salary. His legends ranting about his wife, his neighbor sleeping with his wife.
You don't lose to Vanderbilt. We'll send a U-Haul to your ass. Can't you take the heat? Get out of the kitchen. I love the kitchen. So
Love
let's get
the
that
kitchen.
right.
This is the whole, some people have that, uber aggressive ego. I can do anything and coach anywhere and win anywhere. This is the whole argument about, you sure you want that job?
You sure you want to replace that guy?
You sure you want that? You sure you want that job? Because it took 1 week. And they want him gone. They were criticizing him for not tucking his shirt in. He looks like a slob. Malachi Moore.
Really?
That's a thing.
The
Oh,
shirt
this
thing
is
is
all
a
over the
thing, huh?
internet. Malachi Moore, did you see what he was doing at the end of the game?
Yeah.
So he's like, shoving the Pavia kid's head in the
Yep.
turf. He's throwing
was
his
pissed.
mouthpiece. They're pissed that he's not getting suspended, and they want him to pay some sort of punishment for throwing a tantrum. Although legend on that call did defend Malachi Moore yesterday. They have lost. You lose one more game this year, they can still go to the playoff. It doesn't matter. Like, they're going to try and burn down that guy's house if he loses one of his next 2 games.
Well, but that defense doesn't change at all.
No.
They might be able to lose against South Carolina because if you can lose to Vandy, I've opened up the idea you could lose to any other team on your schedule with that defense.
Did you see the comparison? So Joe Klatt went on a show in Birmingham yesterday, and it's a show that I just keep an eye on from time to time. It's like Next Round Live, I think, or something. They just talk SEC football, basically. And he was on yesterday, and you know who he compared Alabama this year to that
Who?
made them all lose their minds? He said, you're no different than a 2007 Lincoln Riley Oklahoma team. You're going to have to score 45. You're a Big 12 team this year. Congratulations.
Wow.
You're going to have to score 45 in every game to win, and sometimes that might not even be enough. And the hosts looked like they wanted to murder him.
The honeymoon's over.
Yes, it is. It is over for him in Alabama. I can't believe they lost that game.
I mean, you can't lose that game.
And look,
You can't lose that game.
Final thought on it. 40? You gave up 40 to
Yeah.
Vandy? Oh my God. I haven't gotten over the defense. DeBoer had his own problems offensively in the first half of that game.
It did.
That defense could not get off the field.
No.
Unbelievable.
They don't have an
Pavia.
identity, man. And
Diego Pavia.
It's a wild trend of him constantly playing down to teams last year. He's an unbelievable, like nobody doubts his brilliance as a coach, but the way that they played down to so many teams last year was always a bit of a red flag.
You can't help but wonder internally. It's not that he's not preparing. It's not that his message
Like,
has
of course
changed.
he is, right.
There's got to be something where, like, the preparation
How does that happen?
or the level in which he is focused on an opponent
Right.
matches what his team is doing. And so when they play Oregon and they play Georgia, oh my God, they're unstoppable.
Yes, they look unbelievable.
You play Vandy, you play Arizona State,
Right.
you play Stanford. Well, we barely won or we lost.
Washington State was not a good team last year, and they needed to convert a 4th down in their own territory to win the game. If Oregon State doesn't snap the ball over their punter's head, they lose in Corvallis. Like, he had this so many times, and you keep playing with fire, eventually you're going to get burned, and he learned that the hard way this weekend.
We have a lot more to get into in the radio program. Our congrats to a legendary phone call in sports radio history. We've created an entire page for guys like that.